Hello and welcome to the Happy, Healthy, Strong podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you live a happier, healthier, and stronger life. Building a life that you love starts with you owning your health and intentionally creating the best version of yourself. So if you're looking to better understand how proper nutrition, daily movement, mindset work, and strength training can help you create a life full of happiness and health, then you are in the right place. I generally hope that the tips, tricks, and information that we share will be the catalyst for change. I'm your host, Adam Lane. It's time to dive in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Happy, Healthy, Strong podcast. I'm your host, Adam Lane. With me today, friends, this is a long time coming. We are thrilled. I walked down the hall to ORS and I said, give me your best and your brightest. And I was told that Claudia and Patrick are both busy, but
that's right.
Dan's available.
You got it.
Mr. Dan McGirk, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Nice to be here. Glad to be here.
Dan, thanks for joining us.
Of course.
You're a busy guy. This has been a long time coming.
It has been.
We made this happen. They said it couldn't be done.
Yes.
But here we are. Dan, for the tens of people that listen to the show who don't know who you are and why you're such a big deal, tell these people who you are and why you're such a big deal.
All right. So I'm Dan McGirk. I'm a physical therapist. I'm a part owner of ORS Physical Therapy Specialists, which has been around since 2000, so about 25 years. Devin McCullough and myself purchased a business right before COVID hit. So just
perfect timing on that.
Yes. But we survived.
You didn't get the COVID discount.
No, we didn't. We got a little help from the government, which was good. So I'm still practicing. And we have 6 locations now. Between all of our providers, upwards of like 17, 19 providers, including some massage therapists and that. So
there we go.
Yeah, we're kind of all over. We're in Rockford, of course, Loves Park here with Adam. We're in Dixon, Belvedere, Winnebago. Yep.
Yeah, that was all of them, right?
Yes. Yep.
That's counting as you went.
I know, right?
There's not a Byron, is there?
Byron, too.
There's Byron.
Yes,
there we go.
There we go. There's 6th one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at you.
Right.
Blowing it up.
Uh-huh.
It's like a real business, Dan.
I tell you, it's crazy.
You got people, lots of people.
Yeah. Got upwards of 38 employees, I think.
Holy buckets.
Yeah.
That all listen to you.
Oh, well, that's in a perfect world.
Or listen to your HR lady.
Yes,
exactly. Dan, so here's the thing I want to specify out for people, because we've had Mark Skaggs on the show before. Mm-hmm. When it comes to, because I love you guys as physical therapy is in this area. You guys are different because you are privately owned, different than your Athleticos and different than your Ortho Illinois and stuff like that. Can you explain the difference and how I don't want to throw shade on people, but
sure,
you're different. Tell people why. Yeah.
So we're one of the few locally owned, locally operated PT companies in the area. Most of them have been bought out by national chains. Like the Athleticos, the Coras, the ATIs. There's Ortho Illinois has several locations for rehab. And then you have all the health systems all have their own rehab. So, we're pretty choosy about who we bring aboard. And if it's a new grad, it's usually someone who's done a clinical rotation with us, and we know them. So normally we hire people who aren't green, but have some, some experience underneath their belt and
know what they're doing,
have some expertise in, certain specialties. We have therapists that specialize in spine. We have therapists that specialize in shoulder and knee rehab. We have therapists that specialize in TMJ issues, vertigo issues. So, we kind of try to have those type of specialties at all our locations so we can offer that to the communities. And that.
Well, Leah with the
our
hand wrist.
Yeah, she's our certified hand therapist. We only have one occupational therapist, so she gets people from miles around to come see her.
Yeah.
She's very good.
Because I don't think that's something people think about. It's like, oh, I need physical therapy, and I just go to a physical therapist, and the physical therapist is expected to know everything from head to toe, and not that you don't, because Correct. You do. However, when you get really into no different than a surgeon who specializes.
You kind of get your niche after you've been practicing for a while and say, well, I want to, focus on, spine. We have, again, therapists that like Dave Black, who sees a ton of post shoulder and knee rehab. So, you kind of get your niche and your specialty, and you get good at it. So, and it's different than, some of the other health systems that have therapists that are treating everything, and they may not get as great outcomes as I think we do.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate when I walk into especially your Rockford location, I'm going to say it looks different than your normal physical therapy clinic. Like, it looks like a gym. Like it looks like you have bands and balls and the stretching dealie in the corner, and, your, banded leg press machine and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't look like your standard, physical therapy place.
We try to make it that we're not a sterile environment like a lot of the therapy places are. So, we goof around a lot with patients, goof around a lot with each other, make it a fun environment so people aren't so focused on their pain. And I think it helps with their rehab that way too, that they're not, go and do this and then you come back and tell them to do this. I mean, we're communicating with them and, watching what they're doing and correcting what they're doing. And, so again, it all has to do with getting better outcomes in the end. So.
Yeah. Well, and you make them work too. Cause I can't tell you how many of our, athletes that have come out, or, I was a little less cause of my wrist thing, but, they're sweating. Yeah. Like, it's a workout. It's not just, hey, do 30 of these and 30 of those, now go spin on the bike for 5 minutes. Like,
right. Yeah. Especially for, athletes and that, and, whether it's young athletes or older athletes. I mean, we put those guys through a pretty rigorous routine, but we also see, a fair amount of Medicare patients. We see a fair amount of, kids that aren't athletes. Mm-hmm. They're just having back pain, and, they're having the, backpack syndrome, that they're carrying 50 pounds of books every day and start having upper and lower back problems. So you see a large, variety of patients in addition to a lot of the athletes in that.
Yeah. I think so. Funny story. I haven't told you this. I was talking to Samantha Sindel, Brody's mom, at a wrestling meet. This is back in, I don't know, February, something like that. The kids were at a meet. This is a Sunday, and she's talking about, they're trying to figure out surgery and stuff like that. And, they had a recommendation from another Rock and Roscoe person. I forgot who it was. But yeah, you got to go, this super special, super special, super focused, kind of Superman rushed, amazing physical therapy for the ACL. That's basically, she was talking about it like it was an underground secret that nobody knew anything about. And it was run by this guy named Black. And, he knows all the tricks and will get kids back, back in action. I'm like, do you mean Dave? And I just thought it was funny.
So Dave and Gordon were the previous owners of ORS. They started it. They were both from the Rockford Health Systems environment years and years ago. And Gordon since retired, but Dave's, he's got a niche for ACL rehabs for sure, and shoulder.
Now, I don't want him to listen to this and get his head too big.
Right?
Like, it needs to be any bigger.
Exactly.
But I think that's what you guys have built, where to get an athlete, again, there's so much research out there, specifically ACL. Hey, the longer you wait to come back, the lower the risk of re-injury and stuff like that. But that's thousands of athletes with thousands of physical therapists doing thousands of different things, and when you find people that are really, really good at it, you are able to get better results than, and I'm talking, I'm not just talking kids and ACLs, but my dad and his hip, my mom and her shoulder, my wife and her shoulder,
so it doesn't become, a chronic problem down the road. That's what we're trying to avoid and get them back to normal function for that person. So whatever that level is. Yeah.
Dan, who needs, because I really appreciate that with you guys, which I think is very different than the other experiences that I've personally had, at least with the other big boxy things where I've tried to, I met you back at Roscoe back in the day.
Yeah.
Who's the grouchy guy behind the desk,
Oh yeah.
and, but I tried to connect with lots of different physical therapy places, and I did not realize, until I saw you guys multiple times over, that this is not all the same.
Right.
Because I thought it was all the same.
Yeah.
I thought all chiropractors were the same. I thought all physical therapists were the same, and it couldn't be farther from the truth.
Yeah. So, how we decide, or how we help, a patient decide, or potential patient that they need to get into rehab, is usually based on function. I mean, everything's about function, right? So someone's normally used to being able to walk for 45 minutes at Woodman's. Now they're struggling to do that for 10 minutes. That's affected their function.
Yeah.
They need to be looked at.
Yeah.
And that's why, it's helpful. We do a lot of injury screens that people just off the street just come in and say, what should I do? I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And we help kind of triage them and say, go see this doctor, or you've already seen a doctor. We just need to call them, get a script to get you in because we think you need some rehab, or, try this one or two exercise or a couple stretches to do and see if it gets better on its own in a week or two. If it doesn't, then we'll get you in.
Yeah.
So not everyone needs, we don't kind of just say everyone needs therapy that comes in, but we, try to help with the decision process with the patient, because a lot of them are at a loss of what to do.
Yeah. Well, and I hate when we have people come in and, they weigh more than they want to, and they want to lose weight. They want to get a little stronger. And then they come and tell us, you're like, yeah, I've had this terrible back thing. I'm like, oh, how long has it been bothering you? Oh, 15 years. Oh, okay.
Right.
So now we're trying, we're working from square one now. Like, holy cow, we're like, this is walk people through, because you glazed over it, but if somebody is struggling with, whether it be walking around Woodman's doing their shopping, or whether it be, hey, I play sand volleyball in the summer, my shoulder is really, really bothering me. Like, I can do it, but explain the process that you guys have here in the, something's wrong. I'm missing function.
Yeah. What do I do? I just had a kid yesterday that came in that's a firefighter, and, I go, how long has your shoulder been bugging you? He says, since high school. And now he's, 8 years removed from high school. And
I thought he was going to say he's 19 now.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. And then, he says, I'm not able to work out like I want to. And it's starting to affect how I can do things on the job too. Yep. It's painful. So those people should have been in rehab a long time ago. Yep. You don't let things go that long, because the longer it's bothering you, the more, wear and tear you're causing on that particular body part. And then rehab's, harder. You might have to have other interventions. We try to tell people if it's starting to affect your function and it's, been going on for a month or 6 weeks and it's not getting better. It's not just that you went and did something, you worked outside in the garden and you're sore for 2 days and then it gets better. Those people don't need rehab.
Yeah.
But the ones that it doesn't get better after, 4 to 6 weeks, so you're kind of out of that acute stage and into more of a subacute stage. And, those people need to probably get looked at, and either by a physician, by, their healthcare provider, or come in and see us and help us guide where to go.
So they could. I'm just thinking our people here at the gym can now walk 40 feet down the hall,
right,
and see your smiling face.
Oh, yeah.
And if not Patrick, which he's better looking than all of us.
I know,
Dan,
right?
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
He's an adorable child. So if one of our people has anything going on, they can just schedule a consult with you guys. You take a look at them, and you're either going to tell them you are a train wreck, you need help. At that point, do they have to go to their doctor and get a script?
So,
or how does that work?
It depends on insurance payers and that kind of things. Most payers require a script from the doctor.
Okay.
So usually we'll send them to, I know a couple guys at Ortho Illinois Injury Express, so we can get them in with a couple days, and I'll, communicate with them, send this person to you and get them back. Or if, they've seen their physician in the past and it's been 2 months and it's like, yeah, he just told me he gave me a sheet of paper that had some exercise on it, but it's not any better. Well, then we can call them and say, hey, we have a mutual patient. Can we get a script to start therapy? And so we'll go that route. But yeah, most payers, kind of force you to see a healthcare professional at some point.
Okay. So you're a train wreck, get a doctor, get a script, type thing. Option 2 could be, hey, it's not as bad as we think. Let's try these stretches. You print something off for them.
Yeah.
Go try this for a few weeks.
Right.
And if it gets better, great. If not, now we might need some PT.
Or it's, back down on what you're doing now. If you're working out here, or you're working out at peak by yourself, and you're trying to ramp up the weights and that, lower them down and adjust things, do lower weights, higher reps, and see if that will get you over the hump to move on. Because some people just they think more and more and more is better.
Mm-hmm.
So
there was a time, Dan.
I know,
you just talked about me,
right? Exactly.
I think you're past it. I still get hung up on it sometimes.
Hence the risk.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Leah's still not thrilled with my workout protocol, but that's okay. We're We're doing okay. Just not a lot of high fives here.
Right.
Fantastic. What, those are basically the two options then. It just like, and if you don't know, you probably need to come in. Like if you're
correct. Or if you don't have insurance or don't want to go through insurance and you're self-pay, then we don't need a script. We can come in and just kind of start rehab on you.
Okay.
I mean, so that's an option.
Do you have many cash payers?
Getting, with deductibles getting higher and higher, that we get a fair amount of those, more as time goes on, just because people they're like, I'm never going to reach my deductible. So we do get a fair amount of those. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you balance, just so people know, you balance both. You do the insurance if needed, but also you want cash pay.
Correct.
And
we accept all commercial insurances really. So, from Medicare to Blue Cross Blue Shield to, all the private ones in town, so the Mercy Cares, not a problem with any of, insurance carriers and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. What, and you guys do really well by teachers because the zero card with what, Belvedere, Harlem,
District 205.
Oh, Rockford's on it too now.
It is. They just got added middle of last year, and then Hononegah up north is on it.
Okay.
They're their own kind of school district. So and then there's a couple other smaller companies in town that are on board with it because you have to be self-insured. Okay. We get our what we call our zero card club that comes in usually early in the morning, or they come after 3:00, and it's usually all teachers or paras or people in the school system. So they all know each other. So.
And let's be clear, teachers need therapy.
Oh, yes, exactly.
I'm joking, teachers. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
You're married to one.
I know. And at this point in the year, she might need a little therapy.
Just it's winding down.
Just hanging on. Dan, what did we miss? What do you wish I would have asked you that I didn't?
I think, again, the thing that sets us apart is we have quite a few therapists that have continued education in specialty areas that sets us apart from, the chains we always kind of are talking about, or the healthcare systems that have, therapists that are kind of what we call generalists, as opposed to those that, specialize in different areas and get certified in, different areas of the spine, different area of shoulder, knees, those kind of things. I do a lot of functional capacity evaluations for work comp patients to see if they're ready to go back to work or not, or in disability claims. Which there's only a few of us that really do that in town. Yeah. So again, just kind of that's what sets us apart, I think, of being kind of specialized.
Yeah. Well, that's why I appreciate with Mark Skaggs, and I've known Mark for a while. And just with him doing different things with me and then working on my athletes and stuff like that, like Mark's been a PT for a really long time.
Yes.
But he integrates not only, let's be clear, some of the old school stuff is still really good and really effective. And some of the new school stuff is really good and really effective. And I have watched him just blur all this together to come up with like some very high level, smart, intelligent training that like, geez, like this is like, that's the best of both worlds. It's not like we're just stuck in 1989 and we're doing it like that. Like a lot of, I think, older people might do
exactly,
and not be open-minded to the new school stuff. But then, your younger PTs are like, oh, this is how you do it. And, and not appreciating,
and that's a learning for, both generations. So people like myself, we've been doing it 35 years. Dave's been doing it close to
35 years. Oh my gosh.
Dave's been doing it about that long. Mark's been doing it about that long. And then, we have some, some that are in their mid 20, 25, of years of experience. And then we have some new grads, that have done, again, clinical rotations with us that we hired on. So you feed off of that. The new grads learn from us older guys, and we learn from the new grads of different things they're teaching them in school. Yeah. And, so, we're required to do a certain amount of hours of, continuing education every licensure cycle, which is 2 years. So, it's up to the therapist to decide what they want to do. And there's something I don't know about, blood flow restriction.
Yeah.
There's something I should go and learn about and maybe teach it to, our staff. So there's other, staff members that can be fluent on it and use those different techniques and that. So
I remember Mark talking about the BFR stuff, and I just like, cause it's been around within the bodybuilding world, for get the pumps and things like
really
that.
Popular in rehab.
Yeah.
For even, for older folks too, for double joints and that. Mm-hmm. Another, we have quite a few therapists that do dry needling, which is kind of a big buzzword around, and very effective for a lot of different diagnoses and that. And it's a great adjunct. I mean, I don't do it myself, but I'll have some of my therapists. I had a patient yesterday. Hey, this guy's got plantar fasciitis. Why don't you throw a couple needles in him and see if we can get this, because it's been cycling. He came back again. I came back, and so it's a good adjunct.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting what works, because we see this in strength conditioning too. Like you hit a plateau with something, and like what is the training?
Exactly.
What combination of training can we use here to get this athlete over this hump? Whether it's a speed thing or a strength thing or whatever it is. I see a similar thing with I've tried everything under the sun for my plantar fasciitis, and then all of a sudden you try some dry needle. It's just a different stimulus or something, and then boom, that's the thing that works.
Gets them over, Hey, I had a kid come in last week. He's he's on a company for as a ballet dancer, and he's pretty high end performer. And he said, my doctor sent me to one of the healthcare systems, and they just went, and he's having this hamstring issue. And he said, well, your flexibility is good and your strength's not too bad, so I don't think there's really anything we do for you. So he comes to see me basically from a past patient of mine that is a dancer as well. And he said, go see Dan. So, look at him, and I'm like, you got a ton of stuff going on. Your hips are crazy weak. And so not everyone looks at those type of functional things, that we see and can help, patients get over whatever's bothering them and get them back to what they want to do. So,
it's funny how different eyes in different ways. I mean, even different tests that you run, and weak is always a thing. Mm-hmm. This is weak here. This is not weak here. This is weak. And it's always relative to who you are and what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we see. We see these muscle imbalances, loss of flexibility in this joint or this muscle group, and then just a lot of weakness in some proximal muscle groups that, example of, we get knees come in quite often, and most of them are non-surgical. Just someone's just had knee pain going on for a while. And the first thing, we check the joints above, check the joints below, and, 9 times out of 10, we'll find, tremendous weakness in the hips, which has a lot to do with how the knee functions. Mm-hmm. So you got to kind of look at the whole body and see where things are going. Yeah.
Upstream, downstream.
That's right.
See what's going on.
Yes.
So I think it's funny. I'm doing the math here. So when Claudia was born, you were in your 10th year of.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You were a veteran. You're getting this done.
That's the argument we always have about what music genre will play at the office. I come in and I got classic rock and roll on. And next thing I know, it's not classic rock and roll anymore.
No. You have the Beatles going. And
exactly. Yeah.
Son of a gun. Dan, people want to find out more info about ORS and everything you guys do. Where do they go?
You can go to our website, orspt.com, and you can see all the staff that's there, and you can see all locations and phone numbers, or you can do website submissions. Mm-hmm. You can send us a quick message, and then we'll get back to you and help you get in if we need to. So
there we go.
Yeah.
My recommendation would be don't wait. If you're in pain,
get in.
And it's that 4 to 6 weeks. I think that's a perfect little marker for people.
Yeah.
This is not, I worked out in the, I did some gardening and my back's sore.
Right. Yeah. Because we do see that too. They're like, well, it's going to be sore. You haven't gardened in, since last summer. Yeah. So, and they're like, oh yeah, you're probably right. Do a couple stretches. You'll be fine. Yeah. But yeah, those have those lingering pain. That's when you need to, again, it's all about, if you can deal with the pain and your pain's at like a 1 or 2, but you're still able to do all your normal activities, maybe a couple of things you could do to help get the pain down a little bit more, but it's all about function.
Maybe some good strength training, Dan. Maybe that's what people need,
Yes. And we do send a fair amount to you guys.
Yes. So, yes. And vice versa. And this works out well.
Yeah, it does.
It works out well. Awesome. Dan, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. Listeners, thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. That's all we have for you today. If you have any questions or want to chat or interested in seeing what we're up to in between episodes, head over to Instagram and Facebook and follow @OakStrength. Also check us out at oakstrength.com. If you like this episode, please share it with someone who wants to live happy, healthy, and strong. If you really liked it, subscribe and review the Happy, Healthy, Strong podcast on iTunes or Spotify. Be sure to tune back in next week and remember to keep owning your health.